The Bitcoin chart is getting interesting here. We've got to talk about Tesla. We've also got some big news coming up this week that everyone needs to be paying attention to. I'm sure you've all got your calendars marked. But before we get going, smash that like button, subscribe if you've been with us a while and haven't done so yet. Check out the Trade Cave store link in the description as well as the channel bio. Let's get into Bitcoin. All right, so we can see here, Bitcoin, I like this formation. I like what's happening right now. This is looking really good, especially the last 3 days. These candles right here are looking great. Let me clean that up a little bit. I did not realize how many of these I had on the chart. Let me just go ahead. There we go. Get rid of this, get rid of that. Okay, beautiful. Those three candles right there are very interesting to me, especially since, okay, so we had very low volume on the first day. The second day we got a little bit higher, but then today it's much lower. All right, if today we get very low volume again, like if we can't take out the candle from yesterday in terms of volume as we were falling, this is structured selling. This is organized selling, and that is a bull flag right there. So we are looking at a bull flag. Now, what is particularly interesting about this flag necessarily right away is see this olive line here, that is the volume weighted moving average. Okay, if we come into this thing and we bounce off of this thing and we take out 60,541, we've got room all the way up to 63,754 before we hit the 200-day moving average. Okay, this could take us to the 200-day moving average. This is also an inverted head and shoulders. We've got a shoulder, head, shoulder, boom, and that takes us all the way up. And to finish that formation, it takes us all the way up to almost $64,000, and which is also coincidentally the top of this descending channel that I've got here, the big one, the top of the big descending channel that we've had on here on our chart since March. Okay, so that is super interesting there on the Bitcoin chart. Let me get rid of some of these things. We've broken that trend line for good there. That's gone. I like this formation a lot. Now, what are we watching out for in terms of danger on this? So we've seen this formation to a certain extent in the past right here in July, right? We had these 4 days right here. And that led to a slightly higher high and then a massive drop off. If we see wicks like we got here on July 27th and July 29th, if we see wicks like that come through as we move our way up from our current bull flag, then we'll know that the move isn't going to sustain. Okay. And we are in for another month of pain through October. That's what we'll know there in that scenario. But right now, I'm looking at it to be something similar, hopefully, something similar to like what we had back here with the inverted head and shoulders, that we had a shoulder, head, shoulder, and we went all the way back up here. And we finished that move. Now that did also kind of end, losing steam and falling and rolling over again. But remember, by the time this move goes through, we should be coming up on the election. And once the election is over and we have certainty in the market, we may see things even out as quantitative easing comes through, which takes me to my next point. Quantitative easing is going to come through this Wednesday with the FOMC meeting. We are expecting a rate cut on Wednesday. Go back to this weekend's video to see what we are expecting from the Fed rate cut. Is it going to be a 0.25 cut or a 0.5 cut? It's kind of a coin toss at the moment. We went through the differences in terms of how the market reacted at about 5% to 5.5%, but for a 0.25 cut and a 0.5 cut over the weekend. Go ahead and check that video out if you are interested in that information. That's this Wednesday. And next week, we've got the PCE. That's going to also move the market and decide whether or not the Fed made the correct decision. That's next Friday, not this coming Friday. So that's about 2 weeks from now already still. All right, so that is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is sitting on a daily bull flag. All right, we're above we went above the volume weighted moving average, which is this olive line, and then we came back to test it. That is good. That's a good sign. Notice how back here, when these two bull flags, like they drove us higher, but then ultimately failed. Notice how we were significantly off of the volume weighted moving average. Now look up on the way down. Like we came down, we came up, we tapped it, and then went even further down in a pretty brutal way. Or back here, right, where we rode the line down a bit and then just launched off of it into the 200-day moving average and then failed. So this time we could hit the 200-day moving average and fail again. Hopefully not. Hopefully we hit the 200-day moving average, create a bull flag, something like we did back here, but then continue to carry on upwards towards $70,000 again. That's what we'll be looking for. So we're going to be looking for taking out 60,569, all right? And then we're going to be looking at taking out 63,767. And then we're going to be looking for a bull flag that does not get an engulfing bearish candle afterwards, or these like kind of like tweezers at the top, like big wicks on top. We're looking for those as potential signs that it's going to roll over again and not go higher. So we are currently looking like we might be finally gearing up to get out of this current little downtrend and test the upper end of the descending channel again. And we'll see how that plays out. Now, Tesla. Why do we want to look at Tesla again? So Tesla is currently, and we'll come here, currently we are looking at Tesla again with an inverted head and shoulders as well. We came down, we had a shoulder there, we had a head, we had a shoulder there, and we're coming up and we're at the neckline right now. That white line there, that's the neckline. Once we get above that neckline at 233.57, we've got room all the way up to $271. And why is this interesting right now, you ask? That's because in just a couple of weeks, they're going to do the Robo Taxi event in Los Angeles at the Warner Brothers studio. Okay, they'll be doing that. I believe it's October 8th. It's like the first week of October, second week of October. They'll be doing that. And that goes off well. Whew, boy. Well, one, if it's anticipated to go well, we could see it run up to 270 ahead of time, right? We could see it running up there before the event. If it doesn't run up before the event and the event goes super duper well, then we'll be looking at it going up there immediately after the event. So this is either going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news event, or in a situation where we are waiting on the news and then buying the news. So be paying attention for this level here at 233.57. Once we start to break that level, that 233.57 level, whew, we are on our way up. At least to the top of this ATR band, like 250s. We're on our way up at least to like the 250s once we break that level. Okay. Now there is a little bit of danger here, of course, because it's Tesla. There's always going to be danger here. So we got this trend line here. That's pretty aggressive, right? But if we come in here, it's not quite flat, and we go like something like this, we have something of a rising wedge forming a little bit. So I bet you if we go on the weekly, that would be pretty. Or let's do a 3-day. Yeah, that's a rising wedge. Okay, so let me draw that actually better on the 3-day. That's a lot nicer on the 3-day. That's a bit of a rising wedge. All right, so if we lose this trend line on the bottom here, Tesla is going to come back down and come down to test 211, potentially even down to 190, 186 area. Okay, so we're watching this rising wedge here. So Tesla's always a double-edged sword, right? We've got potentially great news that could launch it higher up to 270, but we also have a bearish pattern forming if things don't play out as the market wants. So Tesla's always kind of doing that sort of thing. So that's why a lot of the times it's kind of a wait and see sort of situation here, right? We have to see it start making it get above this 233, preferably above like 242-ish or so. And then we have like $8 of room up to 250 and even more all the way up to 270. And of course, be patient even there. You want to see solid breaks of these areas of this trend line above. You also want to see a solid break of this white line here in order to confirm those moves. Otherwise, you end up with a fake out where it just dumps immediately after, something like right here, right, where we look like we were going higher above the mid ATR band, and then on September 6th just absolutely dumped bearish engulfing all the way for the last 2 days, all the way down to the bottom of the range again, from the top to the bottom of the range in just 1 day. So it is important to pay attention to those levels, but Tesla is, either way, Tesla's going to make a big move. It's going to make either a big move up or a big move down. We're watching this bottom trend line here for potentially break down all the way back down to the 200-day moving average minimum, maybe even further, maybe to the bottom of the ATR band around 192 or lower down to the support, because the next level of support honestly isn't down until about mid 180s below if we break that line, right? Because this is a bit of a bear flag, but it does have an inverted head and shoulders nested inside of it, meaning that the market is prepared to either skyrocket or dump on Tesla right now as we go into this big event. So those are the two things I wanted to look at today. We'll come back and circle back on the miners here soon. Bitcoin, really this bull flag on Bitcoin is going to dictate whether the miners do anything or not today. They're pretty terrible. In fact, I don't really want to look at my portfolio right now. The miners are not having a good day right now, especially with 2 days of just solid. I mean, we were up over 60 for Friday aftermarket and close and Saturday morning, and then it just started selling off from there. But I do like the setup. I like the setup right now. I do like this bull flag. I like that it's coming into the top of this descending channel. I like that it's coming into the volume weighted moving average and not breaking it. I want to see it hold above that volume weighted moving average, and I want to see it move up above 60,500-ish. And I want to see it close candles above that to confirm that we're going back up to $64,000 on Bitcoin. So that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video if you found it informative or entertaining, and check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio, and have a profitable day.